One of the most notable ones is Karl Marx, really, so we're going to have a look at his big head. It's a Karl Marx. Workers of all lands unite. Louisa Lucy Watt, she invented partial deafness. Right, this might be a bit of a weird one. I don't know whether you can see, I'm walking through a cemetery. But this is no ordinary cemetery. This is Highgate Cemetery. So I've come to price a job today in Highgate, and the guy might not be here till 12:30. So I'm just walking along, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go to Highgate Cemetery and have a look around. It's a bit of a miserable day, but I'm going to go and find some people of note who are now buried in the ground. So come along and let's see who we can find. In this grave are the founder members of all of the London gangsters. You'll see in a minute why. Yeah, cause there's some bad man buried here. Do with a bit of a tidy up. Probably too busy being original gangsters to tidy graves. Well, I've been looking for the grave of Edward Elgar, the composer. Can't find it. It's somewhere on that side over there. Not a clue where it is. However, I found a man with a rather terrific name. Robert Handcock. I bet he found things really frustrating, having like one big long finger. The thing about Highgate, it's on two separate sites divided by a public road. It's there's over 170,000 people buried here, in 53,000 graves or internments. But what's happened is, with it being such a vast site, it's like 34 acres. It's become a nature reserve. So all of the trees and the surrounding ground has become a nature reserve for lots and lots of animals, birds and plants. So inadvertently burying lots and lots of people outside of the city of London has created this nature reserve, which is pretty good, really. Oh, look at that. There's a name for a female executioner. She Hung You. So she could have been, chief executioner in the Wild West, or possibly at the Salem witch trials. Now, there's a lot of obviously famous people buried at Highgate, which was one of the Magnificent Seven. It was when the churchyards, the graveyards, got full of people as London expanded. They picked these 7 cemeteries around the outskirts of London to take the dead to get buried. But you can't visit here without visiting some of the famous graves, and one of the most notable ones is Karl Marx, really. So we're going to have a look at his big head. So there's the memoriam to Karl Marx. Workers of all lands unite. The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. Which, yeah, is a pretty good sentiment these days. Well done, Karl. So this lady, Claudia Vera Jones, who is buried just next to the Marx Memorial, was an activist, born in Trinidad and Tobago, moved to the States and then arrived in the UK. She joined the UK Communist Party and all various activist parties, but she is also notably one of the organisers, the founders of the Notting Hill Carnival, in an attempt to celebrate the black community. So there you go. If it wasn't for this lady, Notting Hill Carnival might not have existed. Another very strange name. I am very sorry if these people are related to you, but it's just my brain invents things, I'm afraid. John Whitmore Luck. Whitmore Luck, he might not have died. Now obviously what I'm going to do, some of the information I'm going to put on here is true information, but some of it is just made up by myself, so here we go. This might be the first one. This grave is for the loving memory of Sarah Anna, beloved wife of Daniel Duff, who was the founder of the Duff Brewery in The Simpsons. So he made his way into Highgate Cemetery. And we've got this lady who is Louisa Lucy Watt. She invented partial deafness. Arthur Joseph Lockett, who, quite ironically, died of a cough. So this is the original burial position of Karl Marx when he was first brought to the cemetery, and his sister's buried with him, Anya, so she's here with him as well. Here we have the grave of John Cumming, who unfortunately died while making love to his wife. The oldest person I've seen so far, Lillian Williams, died on the 15th of December 1990, aged at 108. So she's the oldest so far. Here we have the Sophia Trix. She was the first lady invited into the magic circle. She's the first lady magician. And look at those two names, Eliza Savage and Jane Meek. Two different adjectives at completely the opposite ends of the spectrum. Obviously Meek being nice and gentle and mild, and savage, obviously we know what savage means, but buried in the same grave. Shows all people can be together, all types of people can exist. So Lawrence, like in brackets Duna, he was the inventor of the kebab, but later on they dropped the second O because it was easier to say. So yeah, there's the man who invented the saviour of many a drunk at 3 AM on a Saturday. I tell you what it does as well, walking around a cemetery, is it brings your mortality sort of, it hits home. It's quite a sobering thought to think that all of these people once had like hopes and dreams and aspirations, but now that's it, done. So make the most of what you've got, and if you want more, get on that as well. Try and make yourself as successful as you can be, because all of these people, every one of them had, you know, they wanted to save up to do something, or they wanted to go somewhere special, or they wanted to get a better job. But every one of them have ended up here, you know. So if you're thinking of, you know what, I think I want to do something, I want to do that, just do it. If it fails, so what? You ain't got long. You ain't got a long time to stand and look at things from the outside. Get in amongst it and get on it, you know. Anyway, let's look for some more funny names and maybe some famous people. I think this is one of the coolest ones I've seen. Look at that. That was a pianist, Harry Thornton, who died in the 1918 flu pandemic. And of course, we're experts on pandemics these days, aren't we? Pandemics indeed. Well, all the punks will know who the man behind me is. Malcolm Robert Andrew McLaren, the man responsible for the Sex Pistols. Better a spectacular failure than a benign success, and some people have left him some stones. I'm sure he'd appreciate that. That's quite a nice one. But I think, yeah, McLaren was known for his love of pebbles, so yeah, I'm sure in the afterlife he'll appreciate those. Now, when I said the piano was pretty cool, yeah, it was pretty cool, but Patrick Caulfield was an artist, So now he designed his own headstone and got it put on his grave when he died. And yeah, I suppose he is. At least there's a little bit of humour involved. Right then, can anyone read who's buried here? It's only Jeremy Beadle. I still think it's a wind-up. I don't think he's dead. I think he's going to come back and just go, see, I got you all. I think it's just a little joke. On the other hand, might be a big joke. I have no idea what that's about. I'm going to find out. All I did, there's the pot. All I did was look up. So this is the grave of Douglas Adams, the author of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and Jewish tradition of leaving stones on people's graves. People have left pens as a sort of a change in tact. So they've left pens on Douglas Adams's grave, as he was a writer, which makes sense really, doesn't it? Before we leave this side and go over to the other side, that is Bruce Reynolds, and he was one of the masterminds behind the Great Train Robbery, and apparently his son designed that for him. He's now become an artist, so there we go. So as we get to the top of the steps, you can see immediately that this is the west side of the cemetery, and it is notably more affluent. The actual memorials are a lot more extravagant. There's one up here which is absolutely enormous, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I'm going to show you a few people, you know, who've influenced life on the planet. There's Mr. John Staples. He invented fastening pieces of paper together with a little piece of metal. So this is the sacred to the memory of Lieutenant General the Right Honourable Sir Henry Nightstalks. He invented getting a boner when you're asleep. He got a night stalk and decided that's what he was going to call it. So there's Barnard John Muller, the inventor of rice. This is the grave of Edgar Hall. Now, people who followed Edgar Hall were known as hollers. So he invented the greeting in the ghettos of holler at your boy. So he was one of the original gangsters as well. So there we are. Look at the size of that thing. That's the grave of Thomas Mears. I'm not sure whether it was Ray's dad. He was buried in 1851. He managed 73 years on the gaff. So what we're looking at here is a mausoleum for a family. That is an impressive lump of burial real estate. And this is in perpetual memory of the following members of the Otway family who rest in this tomb. General Sir Loftus Otway was the first one in 1854. But yeah, it's a big lump, isn't it? Just for one family. Goes all the way up there. And there's someone just round the corner from this who made the news. This man, Alexander Litvinenko. And we all know why he made the news. Very sad indeed. And just along from Litvinenko is Brendan James Nolan. He was one of the original Nolan sisters, but he left the band just before they made it famous, as he didn't have the tits for it. Anyone know who that man is? Buried next to his sister and his mother. Absolute legend, wasn't he? Like, the songs just were amazing, so yeah. George Michael, what a fella. Look at that. They buried a tree and it didn't want to go. So yeah, it looks like it's a bit of a zombie tree. Stay back. Brains! Brains! Oh god, I can hear it shouting. It's dedicated to the memory of Samuel Dance, who invented moving around to music. So he was quite clever, wasn't he? Although you can't tell, that's a decent steep hill. I've just walked up the top, and as I'm walking along, head down, panting for breath, I come across this. Does that mean someone's escaped? I need all my energy now to be able to run. If the zombies are coming, there's another one, look. Oh god, they're all around us. So here I've reached, or I'm reaching, the Circle of Lebanon in the cemetery. George Womwell. But this is where the wealthy dead people hang out. This is pretty. Holy Christ! Look at this. This is definitely where you've got to have some money to be able to afford to die. So obviously these are all mausoleums to very, very wealthy people. Oh look, it's finally, Scarborough's finally died. You never know, Blackpool might be round the other side, because that's on its way out. Wowzers. Yeah, this is where the rich come to pass away. This is pretty impressive. This is very impressive. Strangely, not many of them have got funny names. That poor fella come second, wasn't quite the champion. Yeah, this is, oh Christ, there's more, look. Oh, this is, what's this called? This is Egyptian Avenue. It's a bit like what Eddie Grant sang about. I'm gonna rock down to, I'm going in a box down to Egyptian Avenue. And then they'll take me lower, I suppose. This is crazy. Chillingworth. I suppose it is worth chilling. There we go. That lady, she was the first lady ever to lift a car so a mechanic could fix it. Hence giving a name to the tool that would later be used. Yeah, that's quite impressive, is that? There's another one they're expecting the zombies to escape from. Oh, shit! Quite a cool feature, look. The tree has grown round the fence. Or the fence has grown through the tree. Which one is it? So we're at the top of the cemetery now. And this thing behind me is, what's his name? And I'll have to read it now, this is very unprofessional of me. Oops. Frederick Lillywhite, he was a cricketer who introduced round arm bowling, and apparently the column on top, which is intentionally broken, signifies his life being cut short. It's quite sad, isn't it? So now I've climbed all the way to the top. I'm on the way down to the exit now. I'm going to stop at a few more. One of them being that of the grave of, where are you? Michael Faraday, who technically made my job and my profession possible. So we'll go and see him. The grave with the horse on it belongs to the Acella family. I might be saying that wrong. And the family of the person who was the horse slaughterer to Queen Victoria. Because, I mean, everybody needs a horse slaughterer, don't they? You know, I remember when my horse slaughterer died, we were bereft with grief, horses piling up, dead horses piling up in the garden. I didn't have a clue what to do with them. I don't know whether you can see it just behind me. That's someone's house, and they've got a gym that overlooks the cemetery. That is pretty cool. There's the resting place of the man that made it all possible. I don't know whether you can make out his inscription. Born 22nd of September 1791, died 25th of August 1867. His wife's buried with him, who died a couple of years later. Well, a few years later anyway. There's the grave of Peter Otto Wolff. He invented large dogs. Oh, he was the father of modern hydrology as well. He was a busy man. So earlier, when I said it was a haven for wildlife, even though the grey squirrel is a bloody pest, but they look nice, don't they? There he is, look. But we've also got the bird boxes in the trees. Oh, he's back again, look, he's going to run up the tree. Yeah, I'm talking about you. You got rid of all the ginger ones. Yeah, you did. Snot rag. I hope he's not after my nuts. He's not frightened, I'll give him that. A decent bit of meat on that thing, you know. He's wanting some food off me, that's definite. Anyway, bugger off. I'm going to have a wander up this path and then come back down, and then I'm going to go around and see if I can have a look at this job that Michael Faraday inspired. I think it's safe to say that the west side of the cemetery is the where the posh people hang out. I think I've said that, but yeah, I think it's definitely evident by the gravestones and the way it's laid out. Nice though. That's quite sad to see. Footballer Hugo Ekiog. He wasn't very old, was he? I once went to watch Middlesbrough play Crystal Palace. I was working in London, and some friends of mine were in London, and we went to watch the game. Anyway, there was a bit of a tear up in the box, and this guy come over and started squaring up to Hugo Ekiog. He just went, bah, just hit him with a straight right, like no messing about, no pushing, no nothing, no nonsense, just bang, and knocked him straight on his back. And like, when I mean knocked him on his back, he wasn't rolling around on the floor. He was out. So yeah, no messing. But yeah, sad to see that. A big strong lad. Certainly was. That is an amazing name. Anmari Fabricius Yasuvat. Sounds like a Harry Potter spell. Well, weirdly, that was thoroughly enjoyable. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you on the next one. Little thumbs up.